We are so close to over $1 million generated with this particular dropshipping store. But what's most important isn't exactly how we've been doing that, it's how we started and how we went from just a few $100s a day, and then we went to around $500 a day, and then we scaled it to thousands of dollars a day. And this is how we did it.
Before I dive into this video, give me a like, and I'm gonna reveal what's in these boxes in upcoming videos after I go ahead and get influencer content done for these and what we're doing and how we're scaling up this particular product. And this will probably do, if I had to guesstimate right now, anywhere from $500,000 up to 1.5 in the next 4 to 5 months in revenue with a roughly 25-30% profit margin. So give me a thumbs up if you're interested in seeing this. If I hit a certain amount of likes on this video, I'll take off his comb and reveal these products.
So for the beginners out there who are wondering exactly how this process works, I'm gonna just briefly talk to you about how this all works so you can go ahead and get started immediately. First thing is first, the premise of actually being able to be successful with dropshipping all stems back to your product. Product is gonna be king. If you have a garbage product, you're not gonna be able to make sales and the market's not gonna want it. The market's going to simply reject the product. So if you think you can just go out there and sell cat necklaces or pit bull shirts, it's not gonna work whatsoever. Those times of going out there and just being able to throw up a random cat store and make a lot of money with it are far from gone. So the number one strategy that I would suggest is following what I call and what I've developed, it's called the magic formula. Now, there's criteria that have to go ahead and fit a particular product. For example, it has to be unique and quirky, it can't be easily found in stores, and it has to have a mass market appeal. So again, if it falls under those categories, you have what I call a magic formula product. But of course, there's different criteria that can work. And again, it's not a one product fits all. There's a lot of different products that can go ahead that you can use that fit the magic formula. But again, that's a completely different video. I don't want to talk about too much on how to find the perfect product because it's not necessarily what this video is about. So once you find a product, you build a store, which is really easy when it comes down to Shopify, and then you go out there and you start advertising. But here's the key. These are the two massive points as to why I'm making this video. Success factor number one, it's cost of goods. So this is actually pretty dang crucial and something that nobody really talks about. When it comes down to cost of goods, you want to find the lowest possible price that you can possibly get. Now that means that more than likely, you're gonna have to look outside of AliExpress or you're gonna have to work closer with the suppliers from AliExpress. The problem that a lot of people face is that everybody has the same exact price point, right? Quote unquote, the same exact price point on AliExpress. So if AliExpress has a product for $20, you think that myself and every other dropshipper can only sell that product for $20. As a matter of fact, one thing that I've learned more than anything over the last year and a half is that that product is more so a static number that beginners pay. So it's really sad to say. But a $20 product, we could potentially pick it up for like $16 shipped. And again, there's a lot of speculation as to how you can actually get it to 16. For example, are you doing a certain amount of units per day? Is your negotiating skills good? But that product is just there so anybody and everybody can get it. But here's the thing, that extra $4 profit margin, or that extra $4 margin per se, is really gonna help you when it comes down to customer acquisition and pricing your product. Because if you have $4 extra on every single unit that you can use to spend on advertising, you'll be able to spend more than your competition who's picking it up for $20. So cost of goods, very, very important that you understand, is one of the biggest factors to the success that we've had, is that we're able to get products marked down. And typically, the same suppliers that you have access to, I have access to as well. Now, success factor number two is pretty interesting. This is something that nobody talks about. It's called frequency dips. What is a frequency dip? It's basically when a new product or a new campaign is launched, you have this frequency dip, right? Where a lot of people see it and then it goes down and then it goes right back up. You see, the frequency dip has a direct correlation to sales. So how does that work exactly? Frequency is the amount of times somebody sees. So in our example, it's how many times somebody sees our particular ad. So it might be one frequency, and again, you might get a lot of sales when it first starts, and then it dips. And your campaign just goes to like nothing. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? Now that frequency dip, when it goes down and then goes back up, It's because if somebody sees something for the first time, you get that initial percentage of people that see it for the first time ever and purchase. Again, that's with every single campaign. You might launch something, you might get a ton of sales, and then you notice it dies, and if you let it run just its course, you'll notice that the sales start to pick up again. So that's the frequency dip. Think of it like a roller coaster. So a lot of people will see your particular ad at first and you get all the impulse buyers. And then you have the people that just won't ever buy. So then you go ahead and have that group of people that just don't ever buy from you whatsoever. And that's where this dip comes in. But the reason why it picks up is because the frequency dip is when somebody sees your ad so many times that they automatically trust you and your brand. Think about it, right? It actually, if you go out there right now, the more times you interact and see a particular brand or ad, the more likely you are to actually go ahead and purchase it because it builds trust. That's the psychology behind it. So that also comes down, it's deeply rooted into branding more than anything. So a frequency dip really helps you out in the long term because of the fact that the more times that people see your ad, even though there's a dip, the more they're exposed to you, they'll eventually purchase. And again, you always have that audience, again, they're the best people in your audience that purchase immediately. Then you have those people that won't purchase whatsoever. They just legitimately won't purchase from you, no matter if you were even giving the particular product for $1. So that's pretty much, I'd say around 60%. Then 5% of the audience will purchase immediately. And then the rest of the 35% needs to have the frequency dip effect happen where they need to see your ad more than once. So again, frequency dips are very, very important, and that's a success factor that a lot of people don't take into account. And it's a huge, huge, huge determining factor to success because of the fact that not a lot of people are willing to go through the actual dip with frequency. And if you notice, a lot of campaigns that perform the best ROI-wise, so the return on ad spend or the return on your investment, the highest performing campaigns are actually the ones that have the highest frequencies, that typically have the highest frequencies. And the frequencies could be anywhere from like 5 all the way to 40 or 50 depending on your actual product price. So again, frequency dip is a thing. So now let's talk about product categories that work, because I already kind of overcapped or recapped exactly what you need to go and do in order to go ahead and create a store, find product and all that. And then I talked about the 2 success factors, but let's talk about the actual markets, which markets perform the best. 2 more than anything. One of them isn't necessarily a market, but more so a selling style. But the first one is vanity, right? So anything vanity. It could be facial, literally anything that enhances the outward appearance of somebody is a market where people are willing to pay anything for those products, especially if the products work. And what's even better about the vanity market is you can go ahead and set those particular products up for a recurring model. And that's something that I didn't do on a particular store that I had when it came to, it was something in the cosmetics field, but it wasn't necessarily something that I foresaw having a long-term potential. And then another competitor came around and made it a subscription model. It was 30% off of my particular product. So he was selling it for 30% cheaper than me, but he also had a subscription model to it, which he absolutely crushed it. And he was able to go ahead and project how much money he was able to make in the near future because he set it up with subscription. And the vanity market, I should have also seen this, and this was my mistake, but the vanity market allows you to go out there and for a vast majority of the products, because again, if you're selling like those LED light, anything LED light, it can't necessarily be set up on a recurring model. However, like creams and whatnot, all can be set up on a recurring model, which makes it very, very powerful. And especially if you can incorporate some sort of recurring element. And in the vanity market, it works super, super, super well. The second type, like I said, isn't a market, it's more so problem solving. So any product that solves a problem, but it's so vague because every product theoretically solves a problem. I'm talking a very, very big pressing problem that a lot of people face. So we have mass market and a problem that solves a product that solves a problem that you can't go to your local convenience store and pick up. Very, very important that it falls under those 2. If you can find a product that fits under that, you'll be able to make a lot of money rather rapidly. So if you're interested in learning more about 2 particular products that I suggest, I want you to take a look at this video right over here. And for those of you that are new here, make sure you click that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.